Thank you, everyone. If everyone can please take their seats, we're gonna get started on our first panel this morning. Our first panel is called "The Changing Northern Economy," and it will be moderated by Anne-Raphaëlle Audouin. I'd like to again invite Anne-Raphaëlle to take the microphone. So please help me welcome Anne-Raphaëlle.
All right. I'm interrupting this lovely coffee break. Calling everybody back to the room, please, for our very first panel. So good morning again, everyone, and welcome to the first panel of the 2025 Kivalliq Trade Show. Our discussion will be on the changing northern economy. I'll kick us off by giving a bit of a preamble, and then I'll introduce the speakers, whom I think are going to get lined up to join me on the stage. The North is at the forefront of some of the most important shifts currently shaping Canada's future, from critical mineral development and renewable energy to Indigenous-owned businesses, infrastructure, and trade corridors that link our communities to global markets. In our discussion this morning, we are going to explore not only the challenges of operating in the North, but also the opportunities for innovation, collaboration, and long-term prosperity. It's an honor, and I'm very much delighted to be joined by an exceptional panel who brings deep expertise and lived experience to this conversation. I'll now introduce our first speakers who are going to follow me here at the podium. The first panelist, Donna Kennelly, is the Program Manager for Training Implementation for the Devolution Secretariat. She works with the Government of Canada and NTI on implementing the Transitional Human Resources Strategy as part of the Devolution Agreement by providing training and on-the-job employment opportunities for Inuit. And she will be joined by Henry Coman, who is the Associate Deputy Minister for the Government of Nunavut's Devolution Secretariat and has been with the Government of Nunavut since 2018. Henry was born and raised in Nunavut, and since retiring from the RCMP, about 25 years of service, he has worked in various roles in the GN Department of Justice, COVID Secretariat, Department of Environment, and most recently, the Devolution Secretariat. So please join me in welcoming Donna and Henry to the stage.
Hello, good morning. It's an honor to be here in Rankin, Inlet on behalf of the Government of Nunavut, Devolution Secretariat, and to see a few words about devolution and the opportunity it provides to Nunavut. Before I begin, as many of you know, the Government of Nunavut is going into an election with the official writ being dropped yesterday. As we are in an election, I am somewhat limited in what I can say about potential future government policies or mandates, but I will do my best to provide you with the information that I can. What is devolution? Nunavut devolution marks one of the most significant milestones since the creation of our territory, and it represents the next step in the development of Nunavut and Inuit self-determination. At its core, devolution is about the Government of Nunavut assuming responsibility from the Government of Canada over the administration and control of more than 2 million square kilometers of Crown lands and waters, and assuming the responsibility for how these resources are developed. Today, decisions about those lands and resources are made in Ottawa. Through devolution, they will be made here in Nunavut by the Government of Nunavut, which is local, accessible, government accountable to Nunavut, and elected by a majority Inuit population. This change is about shifting decision-making to the people who live in Nunavut and depend on our land for their livelihoods and their future. It is about ensuring that the government closest to the people has both the authority and the responsibility to make decisions that will shape our future. For Inuit, devolution is not a new idea. It's a continuation of the vision laid out in the Nunavut Agreement and in the creation of our territory. The establishment of Nunavut gave Inuit a territory of their own reflecting their values, languages, and aspirations. But until now, key decisions about land and resources have remained in the South. Devolution is the next step in realizing that vision. It ensures that Inuit, through their public government, have a direct role in determining how the land is managed, how development happens or does not happen, and how benefits are shared. How will implementation work? October 1st, 2025 will mark the official halfway point of the transition period between the signing of the devolution agreement and the effective date. Transferring jurisdiction over such vast lands and resources cannot happen overnight. It requires careful planning, strong partnerships, and clear priorities. That is why the Government of Nunavut, working with our partners at the Government of Canada and Nunavut Incorporated, have developed a detailed implementation plan. The plan sets out the responsibilities to be transferred, the timelines for doing so, and the supports required to make it a success. Central to this process are joint working groups that bring together officials to resolve the technical, legal, and operational issues of implementation. The groups affected federal employees, properties, assets, records, and contracts, legal, legislation, consultations, communications, and excluded sites are responsible for these details. Whether reviewing federal assets, drafting new laws, or supporting Government of Canada employees set to join the Government of Nunavut, the groups, under the oversight of an implementation planning committee, work to ensure that we stay on timelines spelled out in the implementation plan and meet our shared goals of a seamless transition. At the GN level, we are preparing to establish a new structure to assume federal responsibilities over lands and resources. The structure will house the expertise, policies, and authorities required to manage permits, leases, royalties, inspections, and enforcement. It also welcomes Government of Canada employees who already perform this work, ensuring continuity, while at the same time creating opportunities for Nunavut to be hired, trained, and advance into land management roles. This transition is not simply a bureaucratic exercise. It is about building lasting capacity in the Government of Nunavut and creating a Made in Nunavut model that reflects our values and priorities. Economic opportunity. Given the title of our panel today, I wanted to touch on the economic impact and opportunities from devolution. Devolution is about transferring responsibility, but it's also about opportunity. With responsibility for lands and resources, the Government of Nunavut will have greater tools to plan for growth and to ensure that development happens in a way that benefits all Nunavut. It means that decisions are made by a government that is accessible, that understands the realities of life in the territory, and that is directly vested in the economic benefits and potential impact of those decisions. For the first time, the GN will have the ability to share in the royalties from potential development projects on Crown land. Resource revenues have the potential to become a new long-term source of income for Nunavut and can be reinvested into housing, education, healthcare, infrastructure, and the services that Nunavut depend on. If development happens on Crown lands, there is a real opportunity to build economic self-reliance over time. For Nunavut's economy more broadly, devolution creates stability and certainty. Industry will know that decisions are being made here by people who understand the territory and are committed to seeing it grow. That builds investor confidence, supports responsible development, and creates jobs and business opportunities for Nunavut. Devolution gives us the ability to shape development in a way that balances economic growth with stewardship and to ensure that economic benefits flow to impacted communities. In many ways, devolution is the natural next step in Nunavut's history. It builds on the vision of those who secured the Nunavut Agreement, who created a territory of their own, and who saw a future where Inuit would make decisions in their home territory. Transition will not be without challenges. Building institutions and taking on new responsibilities is a lot of work, but the benefits are clear. I will close with the words of Premier Kivalliq. Naminak devolution is one more step in the realization of a vision of a self-reliant Nunavut. It means that we, the people most vested in our homeland, will be the ones managing our natural resources. Our land, our resources in the hands of our people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Henry. I'm now going to announce and introduce our second speaker, and then once everybody has gone through their introductory remarks, we'll have a bit of a question and answer period with the audience, and I also have a few questions prepared. Our second panelist is Michael Spence from the Arctic Gateway Group. The Honorable Mayor Michael Spence was born and raised in Churchill, Manitoba. Since 1976, he has built and operated several successful businesses. Elected to council in 1989, he went on to serve as deputy mayor in 1992 and has held the office of mayor since 1995. He has also chaired the Churchill Regional Health Center Board, served on the Churchill Economic Advisory Committee, and sat on the boards of Travel Canada, Manitoba Hydro, and the Advisory Council to the Order of Manitoba. He is a strong and relentless advocate for Churchill and the North, and has dedicated his career to preserving Northern culture and advancing the community's economic future. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Spence to the stage.
It's always a pleasure to be back in the Kivalliq area of Nunavut. We just made reference that this is the 16th trade show. I was here for the first one, actually 16 years ago, when it was in one of the auditoriums in the school there, and I purchased a carving for my wife, and it was a carving that resembles the big carving that was in the airport, and the artist was Patrick, I can't remember his last name, Patrick K. And 16 years ago, I paid $800 for that carving. It's a great carving. So like I said, it's a miniature version of the big one that sat in the airport. As we move forward, as the Arctic Gateway Group, we titled it Through the North, Across the North. And, it's, if you look at the logo that we have, next. Oh, okay, got it? Okay. I just touched on that. If we can go to the, if you look at the logo, you'll see there's two feathers on each side. And they symbolizes the First Nations. The star, the North Star, pointing north, naturally, which is critically important to our area. And look in the bottom there. That signifies, the importance of the area here, the Inuit, and the importance of continuing to come together in working in partnership. One North is the ownership group of 29 First Nations and 12 municipal communities and Northern Affairs communities. Within the ownership of One North is the Arctic Gateway Group. And the Arctic Gateway Group manages the Port of Churchill, the Hudson Bay Rail Line, and the Churchill Marine Tank Farm. This model that we have here is very significant in terms of the importance of the infrastructure that we manage Port of Churchill, as you know, it's North America's only deep sea port and connected to the Central Arctic and North America. Hudson Bay Rail Line is connected to one of the North American #1 rail lines, which is CN. Churchill Marine Tank Farm is storage for the fuel that we have. Next. So you look at where the Churchill port is situated. It's situated strategically. I could say that and probably say that. In the north is strategic very prominently. And that's where, the future that we have is critically important that we do it right. And governments understand that we will do it right and they need to be a partner with us. So the access point, if you look at that dark along the coast on the western side of Hudson Bay, you'll see the routing for resupply. As you look at the other routes that come out through the Port of Churchill and through the Hudson Strait and to the Atlantic, markets to Europe, markets to South Africa, Mexico, Brazil. So these are, again, very direct to the global markets that we service. Part of the ownership group, naturally, it's critically important that we take control. It's critically important that we make sure that the opportunities are focused on the region, our Indigenous people, and making sure that governments are serious when we talk about working in partnership in a form of reconciliation. That is critical. Gone are the days, I'll tell you, gone are the days where we're not going to be just a customer. No, it doesn't work that way. We're going to do it right. And we'll show you some progress in terms of what we've done and the importance of, again, taking control of your destiny. This goes back to many, many, many years of neglect. And this is why ownership to the region, to Indigenous peoples is important. Enough of, and I'll use the term rape and pillage, enough of that, where governments come in, you have ownerships that are selected, and guess what happens? Governments invest, profits are taken out, and the lack of investment back in. And if you look at the far picture, which is my right, you'll see the railway washout of 2017. Churchill, along the rail line, Churchill was the only community that was affected by that washout. And you look at the middle picture in terms of the washout, and what happened was that it was a lack of reinvestment of looking after the rail bed. For instance, the culverts that weren't inspected on a regular basis. The Port of Churchill, the wharf damage, which again, lack and neglect by the previous ownership. So that's going to change, and we're showing progress now. This bridge here, reinvesting in the railway network, which is pretty critical naturally. And this bridge here, this bridge is north or south of Thompson. This bridge here, investment over $10 million, and they're still working on it. They're just about complete. So these are the types of things that we're doing, the investment back in. So over a period of time from 2018 onwards to present day, we have reduced the traveling time from Gillam to Churchill over 3 hours. And it's quite a difference in terms of how smooth the rail line is. So there's been significant improvements on the track. The upgrades naturally include railway ties, ballast rock. Some of the numbers of ballast rock that's been laid for the last number of years is about 3,100 rail cars. Leveling that continues to happen. And again, bridge maintenance and upgrades and replacement are major. So there's a lot of work going in, and the improvements are showcasing. Anybody familiar with this picture? Well, it just says at the Port of Churchill. And the rail line made its way to Churchill in 1929. The port was constructed in 1930. The first shipment of grain was 1931. If you look at the top of the picture on the very top, you'll see the icebreaker sitting there. They were in there doing a crew change. This picture goes back to last year. The vessel here is taking a shipment of critical minerals. So this is the vessel being loaded of critical minerals from the Snow Lake mine in northern Manitoba. So that was the first that a product from the north was being shipped through the Port of Churchill. So it basically shows the loading. In the center picture, you'll see a white building there. That was the facility that was keeping the product out of the elements. Arctic Gateway, our partnership with the University of Calgary and the University of Manitoba is critical. You know, the importance of science and research in the Hudson Bay is critically important. This is an example of the Churchill Marine Observatory facility where they continue to do the research in the Hudson Bay. There's an opportunity now. We're engaged with the University of Manitoba in terms of doing research on further opportunities for extending the shipping season out of the Port of Churchill. So again, the critical part of making sure that we continue to engage with science and research, which critical component is partnership. So our activities for last year, 2024, zinc concentrate, we had that shipment last year. We had three resupply vessels, their destination to the Kivalliq district of Nunavut. The assessment and development, actually engineering assessments were taking place. Capital improvements, naturally that's a part and continues to be a part. The 2025 opportunities, we had a shipment of critical minerals from northern Manitoba. Again, we were hoping for 2 to 3 shipments this year, but the problem with the forest fires in the location of Snow Lake shut the mine down, and so that naturally affected more shipments of critical minerals through the Port of Churchill. Grain, as you've seen the big elevator, we were hoping for grain this year. Again, weather elements within the catchment area delayed that. We're still hoping to have a shipment of grain through the Port of Churchill with this latest crop. Nunavut resupply, naturally a critical part of the port operations, and we're seeing more of that. And tourism. We had 2 cruise ships this summer, and naturally they frequent some of the communities in the Kivalliq area, and that's welcome. We'll see more of that as time progresses. So the path forward is a critical piece, naturally. And so the Arctic Gate Group corridor will continue to have a shipment of different products through the port. Short term, naturally, is critical minerals that we're working on now. agricultural products as we continue to move through. Nunavut resupply. Those are the short-term. As we go to the midterm, naturally, steps, hoping next year, we'll see potash from Saskatchewan, container port, and actually foreign import as well. So those are the short and medium. As we go long-term, you know, the possibility of green energy, LNG, is something that we'll look at as well. So the opportunities, naturally the engagement process will be a critical step as we continue to ship through the Port of Churchill. And again, you know, direct connection to global markets for Western Canadian, enhanced Canadian supply link in terms of resupply and other products. Multi-use infrastructure, which is a critical part to enhance a stronger serpent of Canadian sovereignty in the Arctic. And this is, we're seeing it now. As you're aware, the importance of making sure that we're looking after our country and making sure that the other countries are not engaging without a partnership that we continue to work towards. Again, unique and Indigenous community ownership is critical. It really advances in terms of Indigenous economic reconciliation. Again, the importance, and I see that every time I come to this area, I see the leadership that this region has taken control, and you are very engaged naturally, and there's been a transition. It's happened over time. The importance of working with mining countries, and mining countries are fully aware that the partnership model is the only way forward. The total engagement of the importance of the environment is critical, making sure that our wildlife is respected and looked after. So in the end, our model naturally is to continue to support jobs direct and indirectly, the importance again of making sure that we take control of our destiny. So in a number that we've used of $1 billion, you know, associated to the Canadian economic activity. And this is, you know, we're working naturally towards bigger numbers, and it's something that we'll continue to do. So in the end, naturally, the goal is always build a stronger future collectively. And the importance of, again, you know, we have a responsibility to do our part, but also our partners, whether it's the federal, provincial governments, and the businesses that want to take advantage of an opportunity, whether it's the mining companies that want to be more involved. But the fact of the matter, at the end of the day, you know, the buck stops with us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Spence. And now I'll introduce the last two speakers for the panel. And again, we'll turn to a question and answer period after that. Jessica Bomberry is a project officer with Catalyste Plus, Indigenous and Northern Services, where she supports capacity building efforts for Indigenous governments, businesses, entrepreneurs, and individuals across Nunavut. And she will be joined by a man merchant who serves as the executive director of the Nunavut Economic Developers Association, which represents community economic development officers across Nunavut. So please join me on the stage. Thank you.
Good afternoon, or morning. Good afternoon, I think. I don't know. So the presentation is supporting transformation, resilience, and opportunity across Nunavut.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. Like they said, I'm the executive director for the Nunavut Economic Developers Association. We are sometimes misunderstood as the Economic Development Association. That's Canor and others. So every hamlet, and a lot of you might have worked with them, has a community economic development officer. I represent all of them, and we provide services to these economic development officers, NEDA, as we like to be called. We've been active since 2000. We are one of the older organizations around. Because of this, we do have a strong history of programming and also a good foothold around in the economic development space in Nunavut. Our priorities are not just regional, but across the territory. In addition to supporting our members, which is the economic development officers, we also undertake economic development programs regularly that make life better for our members, but also for Nunavut across the territory. Currently, we have some projects we are working on with the Waterloo University, where we're trying to build AI-based tools that will help design and deploy community economic development plans. Traditionally, these kind of things have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and been taken a long time and needed consultants. What we are trying to do is build capacity within our communities through projects like that and remove the need and the cost of hiring and bringing in southern talent to do that work and be able to do that work in-house. In addition to that, we do have other programs as well. Find me around, happy to chat and learn more about how we can help each other do more and do better things and bring the vision of our leaders alive. I do want to talk a little bit about the role of EDOs in communities for the people who don't know them as well. They are the frontline staff for community development. They play a critical role in supporting business development and retention. They support local entrepreneurs in not just helping provide guidance, but also finding funding, understanding the realities of running a business, understanding the realities of what they want to do. They're also central to attracting investments within our communities. You'll find them here. Tomorrow we'll have Melody from Arviat speaking. She's one of our best CEDOs and a great example of the amazing things CEDOs can accomplish with the right support. They also take on a lot of local priorities and initiatives to support the hamlet and to do things that make lives better for everyone in the community. Their mandate is not just economic development, but community economic development, which is very different, and whose bottom line is not more money or more GDP growth, but rather a remarkable improvement in the lives of our community members. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. As mentioned, I'm Jessica, Project Officer for Catalyst Plus. So Catalyst Plus is an economic development nonprofit organization that has been operating for over 55 years. They contribute to the economic development internationally and within Canada. We are guided by the vision of stronger economies for better lives. So this aligns with the key United Nations Sustainable Economic Development Goals, including no poverty, zero hunger, gender equity, decent work and economic growth, climate action, life, and life on land. So strengthening governance and supporting SMEs are core pillars of our work and are embedded in our service offerings. These themes, sectors, and Catalyst Plus team are key enablers of our work. Our model listens to the client's needs, matches them with experienced advisors who provide practical, on-the-job training at the client's location or virtually at no cost to the clients. Catalyst Plus is currently delivering 3 key mentorships initiatives across Nunavut to strengthen local capacity and economic growth. The advisory and mentorship program, AMP, is a partnership with NEDA and the government of Nunavut's Department of Community Services. It supports individuals, businesses, nonprofits, and hamlets territory-wide. The Inuit Tourism Business Mentorship Program, also with the government of Nunavut, focuses on guiding tourism-focused entrepreneurs and organizations. Then in the Kivalliq region, the Agnico Eagle Business sorry, I'm not good with the words around here. Mentorship program developed with Agnico Eagle Mines provides targeted support to small and medium-sized enterprises. Together, these programs combine local knowledge with expert guidance to foster entrepreneurship, strengthen communities, and build sustainable economic development opportunities.
With these programs, our role is to be an active partner in this growth, which means working alongside Inuit organizations and leaders to co-design solutions, supporting skills development, and fostering innovation in sectors that are growing more and more today, such as tourism and mining and resource development. Thriving in Northern economy is about more than opportunity. It's about creating an opportunity to have ownership for our community members and doing things that lead to not just short-term growth, but long-term and sustainable prosperity for everyone. As we all know, Nunavut's economy is at a pivotal stage. We have so much attention on us right now in terms of resources, in terms of sovereignty and security. So it's important that we do the work to empower our people to benefit from it the most. These programs are designed to do exactly that. They're designed to do the things that we talk about as much as possible, which is build capacity and train our people. And they're designed to do them at the least possible cost and in the best way possible. And these programs focus on not just one thing, but on multiple programs such as mining and tourism and economic development and building skills. So all of these things are very important, and we try to show that through the work that is done through Catalyst Plus and with NEDA. The Advisory and Mentorship Program, AMP, as we like to call it, has been around since 2001. It's older than some people probably in this room. So over the years, we have supported more than 280 clients and worked alongside departments, Inuit organizations, businesses, nonprofits, and organizations. The long-standing presence in Nunavut ensures you that the program is well built and well understood and delivers substantial and sustainable benefits for the participants. And just so we are clear, there is no cost to participating in the program. And we are hoping to have as many as Hamlet and economic development officers be taking part in this program, but it's also open to others as well.
So, Catalyst Plus advisors are a dedicated group of experienced Indigenous and non-Indigenous professionals selected for their leadership, industry expertise, and strong communication skills. Many are retired or semi-retired with over 15 years experience, and many have spent their careers working closely with Indigenous communities and in northern regions. Rather than acting as consultants, advisors offer guidance and external perspectives while collaborating with you to build on your own knowledge and experience. So here's a list of some of the support areas to bring your vision to life. So here's some examples of some of the advisors that we have. Catalyst Plus provides access to a dynamic network of advisors with deep expertise in governance, business development, Indigenous community support, and so here are some of the examples from our roster. Among them is Glenn Nolan, a member of the Mistanabe Cree First Nation and a respected Indigenous leader in the mining industry professional with over 30 years experience in mineral exploration, community development, and land and resource negotiations. His specialties include Indigenous and government relations, strategic economic development, geophysical surveying, and building partnerships across sectors. Then we have Cameron Goggin, who brings over 4 decades of experience as a computer science and information technology specialist, recognized for her skills in programming, system development, and digital strategy. With a strong track record in international and multidisciplinary environments. Lastly, we have Kevin Kelmet, a seasoned senior executive in Indigenous Affairs, and offers extensive knowledge in financial management, program delivery, and land claims, as well as self-governed negotiations, with expertise in Indigenous rights, strategic planning, and nation-building initiatives. Let's hear directly from our clients as they shape their experiences and the impact these mentorships have made in their communities.
In Nunavut, we have an overwhelming number of strengths. We have a richness and a connectivity in our communities that doesn't get harnessed properly.
With this mentorship program, I have gained a lot of self-confidence and am more aware of how I manage my staff.
My goal through the mentorship was to figure out the social enterprise landscape in Canada in relation to how we operate in Nunavut. And my mentorship resulted in a funding application that was successful in getting funded.
I want to train and empower young Inuit to be able to go out and be biologists and technicians. He taught me how to translate my story into conversations, into emails, onto my website. It's helped me in real life.
Having a navigator is essential. Someone who's excited about what you're excited about.
Being able to tell Catalyst my needs, them being able to come back to me with a list of candidates has really helped me focus towards my goals.
I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to meet various mentors to help me in my lifelong goals. Having this opportunity is very beneficial not only for me, but our organization and the community as a whole.
Every woman in our organization has received a mentorship from Catalyst Plus, and now we have a new cohort of employees that we're hoping to line up for mentorships as well.
If you have somebody who has decades of experience over you, teaching you the skills that they learned over a lifetime, it's great. And for it to be free is just the icing on the cake.
It's harnessed the way we work as Nunavut into something tangible that we can apply in our systems. And to me, that is the essence of decolonizing a system, decolonizing a process, and elevating the strengths of what we do really well in Nunavut.
I would highly recommend that you take advantage of these amazing opportunities, as you never know how far you can go.
A beautiful journey with the support of a really great mentor who is still in touch with me today.
So AMP's success is rooted in its deep understanding of Nunavut's unique challenges and its commitment to community-led solutions. Working in Nunavut means navigating unique realities, and Catalyst Plus advisors respond in practical, targeted ways. First, they tackle geographical barriers by providing free, flexible, remote, on-the-ground support, reducing the impact of isolation and high cost. They close workforce gaps and skills by mentoring and training local talent, strengthening capacity across sectors. They strengthen financial resilience by helping organizations diversify funding streams, from identifying and writing grants and proposals to building sustainable revenue models through financial planning. They also foster trust and cultural relevance by co-designing approaches with communities to ensure programs reflect Inuit values and priorities. So Nunavut's economic momentum in mining, infrastructure, and renewable energy creates a rare chance for lasting prosperity. AMP responds by aligning with growth sectors through targeted mentorships, building governance and leadership capacity, fostering entrepreneurship, and strengthening community self-sufficiency. With strong partnerships in the government of Nunavut, Inuit organizations, and industries, AMP ensures opportunities are locally driven and we deliver long-term impact. I would just like to acknowledge that Catalyst Plus is committed to reconciliation. And we thank you and we open the floor to any questions.
Thank you very much to both of you and to all our speakers. So we're going to turn to the audience for some questions. We have some time, about half an hour, to interact with our panelists today. Maybe as we get ready with people going over their shyness here and getting to the microphone, I'll ask one, which is top of mind, of course, for us at Nukik Corporation, being the developers of the Kivalliq Hydrofiber Link. I'm going to ask you a question, Mayor Spence, on the projects that you are leading, obviously, at RT Gateway Group. And we know that the Kivalliq Hydrofiber Link is intertwined with the Port of Churchill development, and really that historically that flow of people and goods has been happening, and long generations of people have seen it happen. But can you elaborate a bit on the ties you see between the Kivalliq Hydrofiber Link and the Port of Churchill, and how this moment is pretty unique in being able to push our next step through on both undertakings?
Thank you. Naturally, the importance of the Kivalliq hydro and fiber link is critically important in terms of a partnership, because we, the community of Churchill, like our hydro line has been experiencing challenges with the whole aspect of climate change. When it was designed, there was no lightning protection. Just imagine that, when this line was built going back and came to our community about the early 90s, that there was no protection of lightning. But the importance here, though, by collectively working together, it really sends the message that we in the North are growing. We need reliable, clean energy. Collectively working together, we are stronger together in everything that we do. Whether it's the connection of the gateway, which includes the port, the rail line, the fiber link, we're all connected. And collectively we can develop a stronger partnership to send the message like, this is an opportunity, like we're really focused. The government of Canada is focusing on the importance of developing a stronger Canada without the interceptions by countries that are holding us back. But it really shows the importance of reinvesting in the North. And this is a project that really nearly needs to be connected.
Thank you very much for that answer. So I'll turn to the audience, seeing if anybody wants to come to the microphone up front here, if anyone has a question for any one of our speakers or group of speakers.
Hello, thank you all. My name is Alexia Cousins. I'm Acting Assistant Director at Pilimasayvik, responsible for pre-employment training. My question is for Jessica and Aman. With participants and applicants to your programs, do you find you have common barriers for those to access your programs or to reach their goals?
There are barriers, definitely. There is the ability to reach them. We don't talk about this a lot, but there is such little reliance, stability in communication infrastructure in our communities. So many times we'll try to reach our mentees and their phone lines are just not working, which you can't imagine happens anywhere else in the world. There's no internet, there's no phone, or you'll email them and they don't know because their mailboxes are full and they can no longer accept emails. And these are hamlets, these are real important public bodies who have such fundamental communication and reachability issues. And that's been a major issue for us, and that, of course, leads into other things where their own computers are not up to the mark to really take part in this. And then we only get to the part where, we're trying to work with them and they have their own life that gets in the way, living in a community, so many things come up. I was speaking to somebody earlier and they've been so occupied because there was a small outbreak of a disease and now that's spread to so many other people, including their own kids. And these are kind of things that you can't really plan around. You can't do anything around. And it's one of those things that you have to get through and participate, but also have to accept that these kind of things will happen when you try to do programs with community members and just learn to accept that these kind of things will happen. Yeah.
I will just second that, but yeah, I do remain persistent on using all alternative contact measures. Also, I would say there's a barrier in advertising ability here and the ability to contact local radio stations. And then even myself, I had the barrier of landing here. Yes, the advisors are very flexible and passionate about their work.
Very good question. I saw someone else come to, yes.
Hello. I'm wondering if any of the businesses have grown since going through a mentorship from Catalyste or NEDA. And I'm also wondering if a business has started and if they would be able to take the next step in their business with Catalyste or NEDA through continued mentorship.
To confirm, question is, have any businesses started as a result of the mentorship? And have they grown as a result of the mentorship? Yeah, is that good? Okay, cool.
Can they also continue to grow under mentorship?
Okay, and they continue to grow if they're already established as men. Okay.
So we do offer startup support. Usually that starts with property rights and such and business planning. And then also all of our clients definitely do get benefits and continue to grow through success. Some of them have even closed down and are trying to reopen. And then to the continued thing, say they can also do the program again in following years if they want future supports in different areas.
Thank you.
I'll ask a quick question again as we wait for the next round of folks to come to the microphone up at the stage here. So on devolution and self-determination, obviously this is a top-of-mind topic as well. And I'm curious, how do you see, from your experience and your side of the table, how do you see devolution shaping the northern economy from a pragmatic perspective and also over time, right, in the next decade maybe? And, I think we're all curious to see what could be the next set of opportunities for Nunavut out of that critical milestone that's going to be reached now within the next little while.
Thank you for the question. It's a pretty exciting time for the government of Nunavut. So internally, what's going to happen on April 1st, 2027, when we have the effective date of devolution? the government of Nunavut will have a brand new department consisting of affected federal employees that will move over from the government of Canada to the government of Nunavut. And that provides opportunities for Nunavut to have access to different opportunities for employment within the government of Nunavut that was with the government of Canada. So that opens up a lot of different opportunities for Nunavut to enter the workforce in areas that they're interested, but remain within Nunavut. So that is one of the big benefits of that. And I'll pass this over to Donna. She can talk more about the training programs.
Hi. Before I came on, I started maybe a year ago. Before I came on, we worked with federal government and NTI and a service provider. They have a booth here, Sibimut Solutions, and they developed the Inuit learning community that supports students going to school with a priority for Inuit. And they're supporting them for diploma programs or degree programs, specifically for devolution-related positions like environmental science, environmental technology. Another way that devolution has worked with the Government of Canada and NTI is to develop a program. It was recently advertised and it just closed recently. They're doing screening to fill 12 positions with the Government of Canada with Inuit, and they'll be taking training through Rural Roads program, and then they'll do on-the-job training, and those are to fill positions that are vacant right now with the Government of Canada that are going to be transferred to Government of Nunavut. And then our own Devolution Secretariat developed Nunavut scholarship program. So we initially wanted to provide 10 students with $10,000 each, and we had an overwhelming amount of applications, which was really good to see, and we ended up providing 12 scholarships of 10,000. So that's another way that we're supporting students, and we're looking at other on-the-job opportunities for priority for Inuit. So that's another big step.
Mm-hmm. And maybe a quick follow-up question on that, as major projects get off the ground and more come maybe to be decided upon. One question that I've heard, and I don't know if we have a clear answer on that yet, but is right now a lot of the decision lies obviously with the federal government. So they make a recommendation, but it is usually the final say. Through the devolution agreement, our understanding is that that will be transferred also, or will be part of what's being transferred to the government of Nunavut officials. Do we have any line of sight on that in the process?
Yes, thank you for the question. The answer is yes. Nunavut will have a say in the ultimate decision-making powers of projects going forward. Thank you for the question. Simple answer.
Yeah, short and sweet. Okay, we're doing good on time. We have another few minutes here. Is there any further questions from the audience? Anything you would like to bring? Yeah? Oh, quite a few people. That's amazing. Go ahead.
I'm going to jump right in, and I'm probably the least shy person here. Good morning, everybody. Robert Connolly. I'm with the government of Nunavut, also involved with the Kivalliq Trade Show Society. And one thing that we talk year after year after year are about the cumulative effects of major development projects in the region. Of course, there's mineral exploration. There's the Nukik project with the Kivalliq Hydrofiber project, which will require tremendous resources, human resources, to put in place. There's devolution and opportunities tied to devolution. There's obviously increased shipping and the need for more resources there. And when I say human resources, it's human resources. Collectively, people are doing independent things, to help recruit, train, create opportunities, and trying to attract and recruit qualified people for those jobs. But there's this cumulative effect of a lot of needs put on a limited resource at the moment. And I wonder if this is a question for all panelists, and some of the panelists tomorrow actually, is really about what strategies or efforts are you making to work more collaboratively together? Because at the end of the day, if you're competing for the same qualified human resources, then it creates a very challenging environment and a lot of movement. But if you work more closely together, enhance each other's recruitment efforts, try and figure out ways that combined efforts can lead to training where those skills are transferable to a major private sector project, to devolution and what the government of Nunavut needs, to shipping and other industries. Like, what can you speak a little bit to efforts to sort of work together on those rather than compete?
In terms of NEDA and our role in this us taking on and working with Catalyst Plus is our approach to that, is establishing these kind of partnerships so that we can enable more capacity building within our communities. I spoke about our AI project to build CED plans, which to a lot of people probably doesn't mean much, but in the economic development space, that's a major thing because that's a plan for what happens in our communities for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years. To build that, to bring that capacity within our communities will have, in our perspective, a major impact on what a community can do within itself. And we're trying to bridge that through more training opportunities, through more tools that bring more capacity within it, and we're trying to do more partnerships. We do our annual NEDA conference, which will be in February of next year, and we're trying to be, as we bring together all the CEDOs from across Nunavut, we'll try to bring together a lot more nonprofits and a lot more organizations so we can speak to not just the role of CEDOs, but to also the role of themselves as citizens and community members in helping guide and achieve the next steps of what Nunavut is supposed to be and helping realize the projects that their communities need taken off the ground, whether it's big projects like the hydrofiber link or whether it's small ones like a small crafter hopper or a new building for their hamlet or a new arena or a new garage. So yes, our approach is more opportunities, more tools, but a lot more conversation and a lot more guided conversation on the topics that really matter in the right spaces.
In terms of the Arctic Gateway Group, naturally, we're going through the process of engagement with our respected training sectors within the province of Manitoba. Naturally, you've got University College in the north, you've got the Red River Community College, so it's a matter of coming together and finding a way so that there's a linkage. The other fact that's important here is we need to start talking regionally in terms of within Manitoba, within the Kivalliq area, because again, we're stronger together. This border should not encompass us from engagement, as we move forward. Whether it's training opportunities to build a stronger region, such as the linkage to the Kivalliq Fiber Link Line, the Portage Church, all of that, again, we're strongly collectively together within the region. So more enhancement that needs to happen.
So for the Devolution Secretariat, in regards to devolution, the GN in general, we're in a slightly different position in that we will be absorbing existing Government of Canada employees within the GN. So, but like every organization, the GN, the Government of Canada included, we do have vacancies on both sides. So it's going to be less of an impact as far as competition goes for personnel. So we're lucky in that way that we're taking on additional resources as opposed to, I guess, adopting vacant positions and trying to fill all of them. So we're in a good position that way, that we are taking on existing personnel with the knowledge and skills that they have already.
I just wanted to answer on behalf of Catalyst Plus that the range of different programs, as I mentioned, there's three. So one's supporting tourism, Agnew Eagle Mines, and then with NEDA, opportunity for all organizations on all levels to support economic development. And then also Catalyst Plus has increased the recruitment of Indigenous staff. So I would say that supports the understanding of reconciliation and the need for devolution and the passion. Myself, I'm Indigenous, and I'm the project officer. And then also our new director of the Indigenous Services is Indigenous, as well as we have a new Indigenous manager, so that supports building trust in the relationship with our clients.
It's more a general question for everyone at the panel. As the senator noted and others have noted today, that the world is changing, the climate is changing, so is the Arctic. Is there any, so like our communities and our institutions all work at different levels, as we all know. Is there any, would you guys like to say anything for those who are, anxious that our communities and our governments may not be able to adapt fast adapt as quickly as the world is changing, I suppose? Yeah.
I think the role that we have as communities within regions is that we're now taking control of our destiny. We're not waiting for government. We're telling government the importance of developing, communities, the resources that we have. So I think we're taking more of a role in terms of doing that and leading it and signifying the difference that our respected governments are our partners. Okay, and so that's the main difference in terms of, and again, making sure that, the importance of taking control. It's really about, we'll set the stage here, and you support where we're going. Can't be any more clear than that.
I'll just say that I think a lot of organizations are taking on more things to make sure that they're prepared. I think at NEDA, we are doing our part to build partnerships with bigger and broader organizations so we can understand what our role would be moving forward when the bigger things come asking, such as when more defense procurement comes and more major projects come to town. So in terms of just nonprofits and NEDA, we are working on that. We are working on a new strategic plan that will now take into account these things. This is how we are hoping to prepare for our role in the new things. But I'll let the secretary.
And I was just, as of now, I mentioned to you yesterday that there's a program in the Northwest Territories for our remediation project through Catalyst Plus. And then also, I'm sure some of you are aware, during my research looking for upcoming conferences, there's an Arctic Defense Conference upcoming in the upcoming months.
So for the government of Nunavut, not a lot to say in regards to devolution and climate change. I can, however, say that within the government of Nunavut, I was the Assistant Deputy Minister for the Department of Environment. And within the Department of Environment, there is the Climate Change Secretariat. And they do a lot of great work. A lot of it is behind the scenes. They aren't front and center so much as you would expect, but there is a lot of good work being done in regards to climate change within the government of Nunavut. So I have been out of the Department of Environment for a while, so I can't speak to anything specific at the moment. So great question, though. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we have time for one last. Brian.
All right. Thanks again for all of your presentations. That was interesting. And I'd like to challenge my Uncle Bob for being the least shy person here. But it's not really a question, but a comment regarding specifically Arctic Gateway. It's encouraging. It's really encouraging to see the momentum you guys are carrying. You guys are making a lot of significant improvements, not just for northern Manitoba and Churchill itself, but it'll have an impact here in the region with other things that are happening in this region specifically. And it's important for us in the, particularly marine transportation industry, to pay attention to what's happening with the Arctic Gateway Group, the Port of Churchill, and the infrastructure. So again, it's very positive to see all of the momentum you've carried, and know that us at Nunavut Sea Link and Supply and Group de Gagne are paying attention, and we'd be very interested to, somehow continue to work together. And again, just really encouraging to see that, and what happens in Churchill will also help the region. So that's really just the comment that I have. So thank you.
Okay, well, since it was just a comment, I'll do one last call for a question. Yes, please.
My name's Harlan Huxley. I am starting up an all-season greenhouse in Baker Lake to eliminate the food insecurity there. I haven't lived in Nunavut very long, but it seems to me that the foundation has bad cracks in it. The children aren't getting educated. The housing situation for them doesn't facilitate their well-being and a capability to learn and thrive. The food that we're expected to feed the children and the people is unacceptable any place else in the world. I don't understand why the children don't seem to be the focus. I understand that everybody needs work and there's all these other big things too, but it's the upcoming generations that will lead the whole and set the whole rest of the future. I guess that's just a statement, but then the question is, why do the children not seem to have more focus? Thank you.
Just make a comment, maybe just to open up the response here, but I think every single person in this room here is doing it for the next generation. Inuit, non-Inuit, we're all involved because we believe in the region, we believe in the potential, and we see the flaws, but we see that now is the moment to come together and find solutions. So that's the common thread, and it won't be easy. No one is saying that it will be easy, but you have to start somewhere. So that's a collective push that you're sensing here. It's great about an Arctic greenhouse. I saw that happening in some European Arctic nations, some case studies. So we're looking forward to maybe next year you can give us a bit of a debrief on how that's gone and if we have pathways for food security in the Arctic through that development. Do you panelists want to add anything on that?
I agree with your comment. I would just like to add, I don't agree with the assessment of the foundation is broken. I think there are problems, and I think there are problems everywhere you go. But I think there is the foundation of Nunavut is incredible. It's beautiful. It's built on the backs of thousands and thousands of years of history and culture and struggle of people who've always wanted to be here, and they've chosen to stick here against all odds from Mother Nature and man's laws. I think these kind of gatherings speak to the push and the need and the willingness of people to come together and do greater things and to fix things for the future generation. And I think, at least my assessment, is a lot less bleak of the foundations of this great territory.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I mean, the importance naturally is the foundation, which is communities, it's people, it's making sure that the opportunity is focused on the well-being of making sure that there is a future for all of us. There's a future for our children. You know, I went through an experience that was a very challenging experience, but the fact of the matter is, you know, we need to lead. We need to take control. We need to make sure that what we're developing here is a long future for for many, many, many generations to take advantage of.
Children are certainly important for the future of Nunavut, and devolution is one of the methods in which to provide opportunities for people that continue on with their education by way of providing scholarships, encouraging students to continue their education, to remain in school, and to focus on a lot of the science-based diplomas and degrees that are out there so that they can work for the government of Nunavut in the soon-to-be new department. So yeah, we encourage the youth to stay in school and to give them opportunities and the skills and the tools they need to succeed in Nunavut.
Okay, well, I think that's probably the point where we're at time here. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this very interesting panel, and thank you, obviously, to the panelists. A few words on the logistics here. At 11:50, you can start making your way to the Singetuk complex, the community hall, for the lunch, which will be sponsored by Calmair. There is a shuttle that's available to all of you for convenience, so feel free to take advantage of that. And then the trade show floor and the arts market will reopen at 1:15. So have a great lunch, everyone, and we'll see you again in a couple hours. Thank you.